Come on in the room, each and everybody. Come one, come all, come big, come small, as I always say. For those of you guys who have no idea where you found yourself or who I am Candy Sincerity Johnson. I am one half of the duo that you guys have affectionately became accustomed to seeing. And so I am Candy Sincerity Johnson. I do a whole lot of things on social media. I think in true transparency, I am in the process and I'm in the journey of becoming something different. I have found that the past several times that I've been live, I fumbled over my introduction. My introduction used to be seamless, and I used to be able to spit out just like that who I was and what I did. And so now, at the ripe old age of 40, I have reached a point in my life where what I used to do and who I used to be known as is changing and evolving. And so I'm in the process of becoming, I'll say that. And I know that's a little complicated. But hi to all of the best friends. Hi, hi, hi. I see people on all platforms. So hi, it's so good to see each and every one of you guys. Hi, Miss Cherie Mason Francis. Hi to all of the best friends that are coming in the room. I titled this video my honest reaction to Chaun's live video. My honest reaction to Chaun's live video. For those of you guys who have no idea what I'm talking about, Chaun went live on Facebook earlier today. She went live on Facebook on our other page. We have, you guys know, we have two pages. We have this page, which is my page, and then we have the Sincerity Johnson page, which is our other business page. So she went live on the Sincerity Johnson page earlier this afternoon. And during the early part of the live, she stopped what she was doing and she gave me a call. She picked up the other phone and she called me. And so the conversation went as such. She pretty much said, hey, I was praying, I was meditating, I was spending some time with God, and I feel compelled, I feel led to just have a transparent conversation with our community. And so she said, I just want to have a conversation and I just want to kind of address the elephant in the room. And I want to know how you feel about that. Do I have your blessings? Like, how, are you comfortable with that? Is that something that you're okay with? And so it was during that conversation that I said, yeah. I paused for a second because the conversation caught me off guard. In true transparency, I wasn't expecting a call from Chaun. So I paused for a second and I told Chaun something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing, but I told Chaun something to the effect of, if you prayed and asked God for guidance and he's leading you in a direction to be transparent on the other business page as well, on another level, then I would say follow that direction. Because we're in a season where who I was previously to Chaun is changing. Who she previously was to me is changing. And so our roles and our responsibilities and our obligations towards each other are shifting. And so with that change, with that evolution, comes natural adjustment. And so I think she was wanting my approval in that moment. And so I told her, in so many words, you got it, you got it. And so she did a great job. I listened to the video while I was getting dressed and, all of that good stuff. But as I was listening to that video, I was reminded of several things. I was reminded of how nervous I am as it relates to this journey. I was reminded of how new all of this is becoming for me. I was reminded of the fact that we had spent literally half of our lives together and this is looking different. And so I sent Chaun a text message several days ago and I asked her, I said, I was praying too. And God pushed me in a direction, and I think what will be a great idea is for us to sit down and have a meeting. And I asked Chaun to put a date on the calendar for us to sit down and have a meeting to discuss some very important things. And so the date is coming up tomorrow, best friends. So what we will be discussing in our meeting tomorrow, and this might help somebody else who's going through a separation, a divorce, or anything like that. But what we're going to sit down and talk about tomorrow is we're going to talk about all of the things that we both do for each other, that we both do for the household, that we both do for the kids, that we both do for the business. And so we want to make this transitional process over the next several months as easy as possible for each other. See? And so there's certain value outside of just cooking and cleaning and all the day to day stuff. There's a lot of value that Chaun adds that I have become accustomed to. There's a lot of value that I add to her that she has become accustomed to. So it's not just I'm removing this aspect of support from you and I'm just snatching it away from you and you got to just sink or swim. But what we're doing for each other starting tomorrow is making a list of all the things that she does for me, all the things that I do for her, all of the things that she does for the kids, all the things that I do for the kids, all of the things that she does for the business, all the things I do for the business. And then we're teaching each other. She's going to teach me how to do the things that I'm not necessarily good at. I'm going to teach her how to do the things that she's not necessarily good at. And I wanted to share that with you guys. I told you guys I was going to document every part of this process. The reason why I'm sharing this with you guys specifically is I'm sharing this with you guys specifically because yesterday and the couple of days before, pretty much ever since people started finding out that we were single, the inbox messages have come in. And there was there was actually two. There was two young ladies that said, hey, when you're ready to start dating, consider me. I want to be your first date. I would be interested, right? Before Chaun or I, and I can't speak for her, but I'll just speak for myself. Before I can consider getting into a situation with somebody else or considering another path, I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. Does that make sense? And it's not to suggest that I can't, but I want it to be a situation where there's nothing else, nothing humanly possible that somebody else does for me that I can't do for myself. Does that make sense? I want to make sure I'm completely healed. Chaun wants to make sure that she's completely healed. And so this process of, hey, I'll teach you, hey, I'll show you, hey, you teach me, hey, you show me, this journey, this process is much easier when it's just the two of us. Could you imagine what this process of separation would look like if we both were seeing somebody? Could you imagine how complicated an already difficult situation would then become? Could you imagine what that would do to the kids? Could you imagine what that would do for the business? It makes a situation that's already very difficult to handle even more complicated and more complex. So Alicia said, I'm so behind, but just know I love you deep. Thank you very, very much, Alicia. So if you go back and watch the last 3, maybe 4 live videos on the page, you'll be completely caught up. So yeah, so that's that. But that's pretty much where we are. And so I really, really, really am extremely proud of Chaun. After I watched that video today, all I could do was, I literally was about to step in the shower because I was getting ready to leave when she called. But as I was listening to the video, I heard the old Chaun coming back. And it's very interesting because, excuse me, a lot of you guys don't know the old Chaun. But I could see her gaining her confidence. And I could see her rediscovering her voice. And so you could tell that there was a period in time, there was a moment in time, best friends, where it sounded like she was looking for validation from me at the very beginning of the video. Chaun was looking for validation. She wanted me to say, yeah, that's fine, that's okay, I support you. And when I said, I support you, but I want you to not follow my voice anymore, you got to follow God's voice. You can see she paused, right? She paused. And then you could tell it's almost like that bird that's learning how to fly. And so I'm super, super, super proud of her. And I'm super excited about her rediscovering who she is. And who she is independent of who I am. Does that make sense? And so I'm super, super, super proud of her. And so, yeah, hold on just a second, best friends. I'm sorry, one of the kids was right here. I wanted to wanted to share something. But anyway, in addition to that, let me see. Kay said, folks don't imagine how difficult it could be because they're selfish and looking out for themselves. Healing is foreign for people who move quickly. That's right. That's right. That's right. Healing is very foreign for some people. But, I look at it like this, best friends. We didn't always make the best decisions, and I don't claim to know everything. But I do know that being alone can sometimes be uncomfortable for people. And I also know that it's necessary in the season for me. Um, I literally have been the person who's been in a relationship since I was 15 years old. There was never really a break, right? I was always dating or talking to somebody throughout the entire course of my life, ever since the age of 15. And so this is that one period in time where I'm like, no, I really just need to rediscover who I am, reconnect with God on a different level, become a better parent to my children, and move forward in a slow manner. Miss Barbara said, I'm praying that God continues to guide you both. Thank you very, very much. Our best friends over on IG said, you've been through so much together. It's no way everything could work out. No, so that's a very good question. We have been through a lot together. We have been through a lot together. And I think it's a double-edged sword, if I could be transparent. So there are benefits to having a partner that you had for almost 20 years. There's a lot of benefits. But then the fact that we got together and we were so young, there were a lot of years where we were developing and we were maturing and we were, learning ourselves and figuring it out. And I think that there was a lot of time. If you ever have a chance to have a really transparent conversation with somebody who got together with their partner years ago, there's usually a period of time where a lot of damage is done because you're still becoming. Who you were at 20 is much different than who you are at 40 and so forth. And so I think Chaun and I have gotten to a point where we've exhausted the possibility of us just simply taking a break and coming back and revisiting things. We've exhausted that. And so now we've gotten to the point where we can both move forward and know that we gave it everything we had. We did it, when we were both madly in love with each other. We did it when one person was in and the other person was 1 foot in and 1 foot out. We did it for the kids. Anything imaginable, we kept coming back to the drawing board and we kept trying to figure it out. But the beautiful thing about this time around is nobody else can be the blame. Nobody else can be the scapegoat. We can't point at this person and say, hey, had you not been involved and broke up my marriage and broke up my household, we wouldn't be here. See? One of the reasons why we separated this time around had nothing to do with infidelity on either person's part. So that's not a factor. But we literally, best friend, we literally exhausted all possible options. And so that's where we are as it relates to that. Miss Brenda said, I like that even though you guys are going your separate ways, you don't seem to show any animosity towards one another. That's amazing. Yeah. So several things with that, Miss Brenda. I think at different points in time, you guys have to remember, Chaun and I have been dealing with this on and off for close to a year. It's not quite been a year, but it's been close to a year. So there have been a lot of behind the scenes things that have happened, right? So as it relates to animosity, no. One of the consistent things that my village has always said is that you have to forgive. A lot of people have shared the same thing with Chaun. You have to forgive. I know there's things that you might be upset with her about. She might be upset with you about. You're entitled to how you feel. How you feel is valid. Okay, ain't that what they say? How you feel is valid. However, the consistent thing that all of my friends, all of my family members, people who have poured into me on a spiritual level, the consistent thing that everybody has said is you have to forgive. And so with that comes the inability to be able to hold on to animosity. If God is going to take me from sitting in the middle of a storm to the next level, I can't be carrying old baggage. I can't be carrying anger, frustration, and all of that, right? That's gonna eat at me, not at her. And on the other way around too, right? She can't be holding on to something that I did 10 years ago. She can't be holding on to something that I did 10 months ago. That's going to eat at her. And that's not going to allow her to get to the next level of what God has for her in her life either. And so, we just reached the point where, like I said, we just couldn't do life together. And so we had to figure out what that process looked like. But I'm super grateful for my meeting with her tomorrow, because I know, not only am I going to make a list of stuff that I need to learn from her, and her make a list of things that she needs to learn from me, but also to say, hey, hey, we're going to be together in the same household for the next couple of months. Let's use this time to make sure you're as equipped as you possibly can, and I'm as equipped as I possibly can. And so I think that that's pretty cool. And so I told her, I said, when I go live, I'm going to share that nugget with the best friends, because you guys might know somebody who's going through a transitional period. Hopefully all of your relationships are in good standings and everything is working out well. But if you or somebody connected to you ever finds themselves in a situation where they're going through a separation or a divorce or a breakup or, whatever, it's a good tactic or it's a good strategy. And oftentimes people have this guns blazing sort of mindset. And so even because they're hurt or they're frustrated or they're disappointed because things didn't work out the way that they thought they should inside of the relationship, oftentimes people want to just draw for blood. They want the other person to hurt because they're hurting. You see what I'm saying? And so with all that being said, it has to be a situation where you lead with the kindness that you're expecting from the other person. And sometimes that's difficult. Sometimes that's difficult, best friends. It was days where I had to show up and do things for Chaun when I felt like I had just got kicked in my gut. That's not always easy. And I'm sure there were times when on the reverse side, she had to show up for me, maybe cook for me, maybe bring me medicine, whatever it was. She had to show up for me where she felt like I had just kicked her in her gut. So it goes both ways. And so it's one of those things where sometimes the life lesson, you keep trying to figure out how you're going to get out of the mess that you're in. It keeps seeming like you keep taking 3 steps forward and getting drugged 6 steps back. And you trying to figure out why you can't get out of the rat race. You can't get out of the rat race and you can't get out of the situation that you're in because there's something inside of that situation that you're not learning the lesson for. And so God is going to keep bringing you back to the same place and the same space until you learn the lesson. There's a lesson inside of that situation. I tell Chaun all the time, we often find ourselves in the same situation. Sometimes we're actors in the same play. We just play different roles. You understand what I'm saying? You've been the person who was cheated on. You've also been the person that cheated. You was the person that was the side chick at one point. You was the person later on that was the wife who had to deal with the side chick and give the side chick grace. You see what I'm saying? You find yourself in the same situation and you're like, why am I playing different roles? There's something inside of that situation that you're just not learning. And until you get the lesson, that's when God is going to release you from that situation. And so I had to, which is difficult. Chaun had to, which is difficult. We had to extend each other the same grace, the same kindness, even when we didn't want to. Because God first extended it to us. And one of the things that he did for us that has been our lesson is there were 2 reasons why we had to keep coming back to the drawing board together. You ready? One was the kids. So any other relationship, it would have been, oh, okay, you did X, Y, and Z. Let me go ahead and hang up on you. Let me hit the block button and then we're done. Okay? That's how either of us would have handled it had it just been us 2 individuals. We would have just handled it like that. But the kids were the first thing that brought us back to have to continue to work on the communication and revisit everything so that we can eventually try to become really good friends. The second reason, there was a financial situation, right? So with the financial situation, God created the dynamic where Okay, one can't move without the other because everything is so entangled. You see what I'm saying? When you spend half of your life with somebody, everything is intertwined. It's not just as easy as saying, I'm gonna go down to the bank, you take your name off of this account, I take my name off of this account, you have your own, I have my own. No. Our streams of revenue and everything was intertwined. So it's easy to say, okay, I'm gonna leave Monday. How you gonna leave Monday? And everything we've been building for half of our lives is together. There's no I in this thing. It's been we. So just like it took forever to build, it's gonna take a minute to separate. And we gotta do it in a way where it's fair for all parties. It may not be equal giving, but it'll be equal sacrifice. You see what I'm saying? It's gotta be fair for all parties. And so it's a lot that comes with that. It's a lot that comes with that. But I was super, super, super proud of Chaun. And you guys, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for this community because you rallied around her on that video. You guys have been doing it with me on my videos. You have literally been such a strength and such a breath of fresh air for us during this process because it's not easy. But let me tell you something about transparency. When you stop with the fear and you just say, you know what, I'm going to just tell my story and I'm going to help whoever I'm called to help, and whoever's called to me is going to be drawn to me. I have never in my life got as many inbox messages as I have over the past couple of days. I've never gotten as many emails as I have over the past couple of days. Text messages. People just saying, I'm praying for you. I support you. You got this. You, Chaun, and the kids are going to be okay. Everything. When I say we love you guys, we love you guys. We love you guys. So normally on a video like this, I normally take questions. I know you guys, there's some people that have been popping in and out. Some people are just now really learning what's going on. I know we're live on, or I'm live on all devices. I'm going to be checking all devices. I love you too, best friend. I love you too. Thank you very much, Miss Sheila. She said, come on here, girl, deliverance. Yes, deliverance. Deliverance. If anybody has any questions, if there's any questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call Chaun. I think Shaun's upstairs. Let me see if she's available. Chaun? Let me see if she can come down. She might have something to add. She might have something to add. Best friend said, because you guys have been honest and real with us, we definitely will be behind you. Thank you very, very much for your support. On Instagram, my best friend said, when you're transparent, yeah, no one else can weaponize you with your story. I know that's right. I know that's right. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for saying you're going to keep me, Chaun, and the family in your prayers. I greatly appreciate that. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. So to the best friends that's popping on, they're saying, what's going on? I'm so confused. This is just a reaction video to Chaun's live that she did on the Sincerity Johnson page, our other business page earlier today. So this is a reaction video to that. If you're still confused, then one of the things Chaun, oh, there you go. Hi. You busy? Okay. I'm doing the video and I was just going to ask the best friends if they had any questions. I didn't know if you wanted to read comments or jump in and any part of the conversation. I was doing a reaction video to your video from earlier. So I was telling the best friends, I was like, I was proud of Chaun. I feel like you're getting your voice back.
Well, thank you.
I could hear.
I was packed away.
You said it was packed away?
I was packed away.
She was packed away. So I felt like when you called me, you were looking for validation. And I could be wrong.
I wasn't necessarily looking for validation. I was just wanting to respect the fact that even though we're going our separate ways, we still are working together in things. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to give you the respect, first of all, for you to be aware of what was going on, and mm-hmm. then just to make sure, because at the end of the day, it's both of our business. I didn't want to start spouting out stuff and you'd be like, well, you didn't want to talk to me first? Because one of the major things we had an issue with was communication. So I was choosing to do things differently.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So you just were wanting to keep me in the loop. So you weren't necessarily looking for my approval or my validation. You just wanted to.
I guess validation is kind of approval kind of the same thing. It's no difference than if you had to go and speak in front of a group of people about the business. You wouldn't go without making sure the CEO and the CFO was on board with what you was going to say. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay. So when I spun it back and said it's on you, you have my support. How did that make you feel? Because when I look back at that part of it, it seemed like you were kind of like stuck, like kind of confused a little bit, like, okay, I, you know.
I think for me, I was still trying to figure out what God was pushing me to say I was going to share. So I was still trying to figure out what I was going to share, what the message was going to be, what did I think was necessary for the best friends to know. I didn't want to be rambling. It was just a lot of things all in that one moment that I was trying to figure out.
Okay. Are you able to check the comments, because I want to make sure? I do see Miss Sylvia. I do see you said I want option 1, and you put your email address.
Okay, I can help Miss Sylvia.
Also, there might be best friends who's
the only questions that I can't check is IG because I can't see it.
Okay.
But now you do have 2 questions over here on YouTube.
Okay.
Miss Sherrill said, "Are you still attracted to her?" So I don't know what you were talking about before I came down here, but that was one of her questions.
Oh, that's a good question. How we see each other has changed. I don't know. Now I have to unpack that. I don't know the answer to that.
And then
I don't know.
Her next question was, what is Chaun's Facebook?
What is Chaun's Facebook? So the Facebook that the video is on so Chaun does essentially everything under our other business page. So I primarily go live on this page, Candy Sincerity Johnson. You can find Chaun on the Sincerity Johnson page. Excuse me. So that's our page with our handbags, our jewelry, etc. But you can also find lifestyle content there. So you can pretty much watch Chaun's version of this journey on the Sincerity Johnson page, and then you can see my version of this journey here on the Candy Sincerity Johnson page. Does that make sense for everybody? I hope that clears it up.
And Miss Sylvia, I just sent you your invoice for option number 1, so you can check your email, and you'll be able to see the invoice for option number 1. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any questions that you may have missed on Facebook.
So Vending said when you were going live about the La True story, are you able to read that?
Oh yeah, let me see. When you were going live regarding the La True story, what space were either one of you? Did you feel funny telling a story and your relationship was in trouble? When was that video done?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when that video was done.
I can't remember when it was done.
Yeah, I don't know, best friend. If you can give me a timeline.
Yeah, if somebody can look to see when we did that video, I can tell you kind of where we were. I don't think we felt funny at all because, I guess I would just have to know when it was done.
Yeah, there's never. So one of the things about Chaun and I is our connection on camera has always been so authentic. There's never been a time that I can recall where it was weird or it felt funny filming with her or going live with her. Because you guys got to remember the foundation or the basis is a friendship, right? Miss Lydia says she wants option 4. She wants to support us. That's Miss Lydia Bracken.
Miss Lydia, I need your email address because I don't have it for Candy's website. So if you can inbox Candy's page, you don't have to put it right here in the comments for everybody to see, but just inbox your email address and then I can send you the invoice for option number 4. And we appreciate your support very much.
Thank you very, very much, best friend. Evoya said, and I went, right before we went live, I went through the SJ website and I pulled everything down and sold.
Okay.
So I archived those things. Avoya said, what do the kids call Chaun?
They call me Mima.
Mm-hmm. They call her Mima.
It's mommy backwards, basically. That's where I came up with it. And it's funny because I didn't realize until after they were already here that that's what some kids call their grandmother. Mm-hmm. And so we've been places and people have heard them call me that and they think that I'm their grandmother. And I have to explain, no, it's not. It was literally me taking mommy, which is what they call Candy, and just flipping it and saying Mima. So that's where I came up with it.
Best friend on Instagram said, I hate that you guys are going your separate ways. I've been in and out of y'all lives since the wedding, but I understand.
Since the wedding?
Maybe she meant the wedding video.
Oh, because I was
Maybe
about
she
to
meant
say
the
we
wedding
weren't
video.
even doing social media with the wedding.
Yeah. Because what year did we get married?
2011.
Because we definitely weren't on social media then.
Not at all.
We weren't on social media then because I was for those of you guys who don't know my corporate career, I owned 2 State Farm offices. So I was a State Farm agent. It was against my contract to have a social media presence. So yeah, we didn't do videos then. And by the time we started to do them, yeah, I was retiring from State Farm.
Janelle says, so would you all separate the business equally eventually?
So we both have ownership inside of the business. One of the things that Chaun and I have been working with is, you know, I think, and it goes back to our insurance training, right? So our financial training and our insurance training. And so although we are in the process of separating a lot of stuff and figuring out who's responsible for what, who gets the assets, who get the debt, who get the, all of that stuff, we're in the process of trying to figure all of that stuff out. We're also very, very big about planning our future, right? So not just, hey, let's split everything down the middle as it relates to the business, but big picture. If something were to happen to me or something were to happen to her, how do the kids then get ownership of that, right? And so, those sorts of things are things that people have to consider. So, we're in the process of working together, not separately, but we're in the process of working together with an attorney to make sure all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted in a way that's going to benefit both parties in the long run.
Ms. Tamara said, are the kids actually yours? I think she means, are they biologically yours?
You want to answer that?
They are, yes. They are. Candy did carry the babies. I was there every step of the way, but she did carry, excuse me, but she did carry them.
You choking. You need some water.
Choked up all the time. It's so weird.
So I know, and I know. So I don't. Can I be transparent? We can't do nothing but be transparent.
Well, hey, we can't stop now.
I understand the question. How was it phrased?
Are the kids actually yours? And that's why I said I think she meant, are they biologically yours, or did you carry the kids?
That's right. Okay? Right? Now. Right? So that I understand what you're saying. We follow the bouncing ball. But yes. Because when I say those are our children, Kennedy and Caleb, all jokes aside, would not exist had Chaun not been who she was inside of my life. I wasn't just sitting around trying to figure out what I was gonna do one day and then just went down to the fertility doctor and said, I'm gonna produce 2 humans and then this is what's gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? We made the conscious decision inside of our marriage to expand our family. So at no point in time, even on my angriest day, would those not be her children. But yes, I definitely understand. But yeah, so.
Lady D asked what caused the separation, but a best friend already asked her. She said it's in the book.
Yes,
so yes, Lady D, if you want to know, we gave a high level, but if you want to know all the nuances and the nitty gritty, it is in our book, Moments of Resurrection, that is currently on pre-sale. So if you're interested in that, then you can definitely purchase that, and the options and the information is pinned down below.
You guys are asking good questions.
They are.
Good questions. Anything else you guys want to know?
Oh, Vin Ding said, I love y'all both. I want y'all to stay together. It seems like I'm breaking up also. Please be gentle with us too. We are sad also.
Aww. Well, listen, y'all don't have to be sad because I can't speak for Chaun, but I don't have any prospects. And so, this is the focus for me is just healing and becoming the best version of myself that I possibly can. If this is a safe space and I can be transparent, I feel like I have something to prove to myself. Does that make sense? I feel like I have something to prove for myself. Once I finally accepted the fact that Chaun and I were not going to work out, I remember the day. I was in the room. I was in our at the time is our bedroom. Chaun refers to it as my room now. But I was in our bedroom, and I remember going in the bathroom, and I remember getting my clothes and stuff together and getting ready to shower. And I remember the water running, and I remember tears running down my face. And I immediately started to feel anxious I started to feel anxiety. I started to feel nervousness. I started to feel uncertain. And in the midst of me feeling like that, I realized you've never lived by yourself. You've never taken care of yourself. You always live with somebody else. And so I said, you 40. It's time to grow up. And it's time to put your big girl panties on and see what you can do on your own. And so I feel like I got something to prove at this point. I don't know. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Miss Deborah said, I feel like we need to know who gets custody of us. We're used to seeing you guys together.
Well, we're going to share custody of
We're
the
going to
best
share
friend.
custody of the best friends.
We're going to share custody of the best friend. I don't know. Now, I will say this. When you eventually start dating these, they gonna give it to them, girl. They gonna give it to them. They gonna be
I
like,
might do them the same way I'm going to do you.
the best friend's gonna be like, she look all right, but
Oh, here it is. Okay, remember you said that there was a best friend that cash apped for their book?
yes.
So did you refund it or did you maintain it?
I didn't refund it. I was gonna ask on the
Okay.
video who it was.
She just stepped up. So Miss Jackie, it wasn't supposed to be done through Cash App, but it's okay. What I do need you to do, Miss Jackie, is I need you to inbox Candy's page and give me your name, your email address, and your address, because I still have to put it through the system. So all orders have to be done through the website, but there is a way that I can still put it through the website, so that way you can get your tracking information when the books are shipped and everything like that. So just for anybody else, no order should be done through Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, nothing like that. It has to be done through the website. But Jackie, just inbox your name, your email address, and your address, and then that way I can put it in the system and you can get an order confirmation and all of that.
Also, best friends on the other platforms. You guys so quiet tonight. I'm looking for questions, or comments, or any sort of commentary for the conversation. Best friends are over on
YouTube has a question.
Okay.
Ms. Sherrill said, "What advice would you give to a new couple learning to combine life together?"
Life together. We using my phone. I took notes, and I'll do a video about it if you guys want me to. I took notes and I was praying one day, and it's been over the course of this year, and I was asking God to show me all of the conversations that I should have had going into marriage that I didn't have. All of the conversations about sex, about money, what do you expect? What do I expect? Communication, all of these different things.
Wasn't that the video that we did, the 2-part series that we did?
Did we do a video
In the
about
morning,
that?
blessings and breakthroughs? Yeah, remember we talked about the conversations that you should have when you picking the wrong person. Wasn't that video series that we did?
Maybe it was. Maybe it was. How not to pick the wrong person.
Yeah, I think that was it. And
How
we talked
not-
about the conversations that you should have had.
Yeah, that's what it was. So there's a 2-part series, and it's available on YouTube as well. There's a 2-part series, something like that we did a couple of weeks ago, something like how not to pick the wrong
Yeah,
partner.
or I picked the wrong person.
Or I
think
picked
that was
the wrong
title.
partner, something like that.
Part 1 and part 2.
And it's literally everything that was laid out. So yeah, it's a 2-part series that would really help. Yes. Yes.
Lizzie Bear said, "When is the last day you can order the books?"
You can order the books from now until forever. The thing about it is everybody's wanting to grab their book now because they want to read it now. They want to read it. It's in pre-sale status right now, but everybody wants to get with the first batch because we're doing a virtual event. The virtual event is going to take place August 20th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. The beautiful thing about that event is if you get the book and the event combo, where you get access to the book and you get the event ticket, we're going to send you the PDF version. We're going to send you the digital download of the book. So you can get the book, you can start reading it sooner than everybody else. That way, when the virtual event happens or takes place, you'll know the full story. We want you guys to have access to the book, read it from cover to cover. That way, when you come and we having a conversation, as Larry Reed Live says, when we having a conversation, you can chime in and give very specific, your questions can be very specific. Like, girl, you talked about this over here, but I want to know, girl, how were you feeling when she did this? What was going on? So yeah. Yeah.
Janelle says, so how will someone new fit in a situation like this?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm not there yet, so I can't answer the question. Once I get to the point where I'm ready to start dating, I think that will be some soul searching that I have to do at that point in time, because what things look like for me then are going to be different than what they look like for me now. Now it would be very unfair to expect somebody to, let's say, meet me at the mall, or meet me on a dating app, and we're having good conversation. We start dating, and I say, well, yeah, but my ex-wife lived with me and the kids, and this is going on, and we have this business, and we have this social media, community, and all of this overlap. I don't know the person who's going to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested.
Pick me.
Pick me.
For all of that.
For all of that. Like, I always dreamed of that. I don't know the person who's interested. There might be somebody out there. There's clearly a lot of people, because a few were in my inbox, right? But it's one of those situations where most people, more so than not, are not running to that. They're running from that. So I can't say, with all that being said, I can't say what somebody fitting into the situation would look like right now, because right now is not how it's going to be. Eventually we're going to have two different addresses. Eventually, although we might share the business, there's a lot of what we do for SJ that can be handled virtually. So, there's a lot of moving parts. And so that's part of the meeting that Chaun and I are having tomorrow. But we're a long ways out for me to be able to consider what my life would look like integrating it with another individual.
Miss Best Friend Vicky said, Candy, where do you see your new spiritual journey and the calling that God has placed on your life headed?
I'm not sure, one day at a time. Because, baby, when I say I have my running shoes on, I've been running. Baby, I've been running. If this is the calling, girl, I've been over here. If this is the calling, girl, I've been over here. Girl, I've been running. That's scary. It's very scary. It's very, very scary, best friends. It's very scary. So
hold on, I'm just deleting Jackie's information. She put it in the comments. I want to make sure I delete it real fast. Okay, I got it.
My best friend over on Instagram said, no, you're not dating for a year. I love it. But it might take me longer than that. You don't, because there's a lot, there's so many things that I want to do. I'm not happy with my physical body. You know how people say they got dad bod? Girl, I got dad and mom bod. I got mad bod, girl. I got mama and daddy body together. And so, there's a lot of things that I'm just not happy with. So I want to, lose weight. I want to start eating better. I want to get my sleep patterns under control. Financially, I'm not where I want to be. There's a lot of things. Spiritually, there's a lot of changes and adjustments that I want to make. So to me, in order to attract an 8 or a 9, you got to be an 8 or a 9. I'm not there yet. I'm becoming, right? And so in order for me to expect to attract the person that I'm looking for, I have to show up different. And I'm not there yet. I will be. It would be a good idea, to be friends with me along this journey, and then vice versa, but I'm not there yet. Yeah.
Best friend Cheryl said, have you noticed that the twins are closer to one of you than the other while preparing for your lives separately?
No, I think their relationships with us have been pretty consistent, the same. We laughed about it. I don't really think they care much.
That was the next question. Miss Best Friend Kimberly said, how are the children taking the separation?
Yeah, because it hasn't affected them yet, right? So they just see us moving around like we've been moving around at the house, talking to each other. Chaun will be in one part of the house and I'll be in another part of the house. And that's how it's been for the past year. So it's just business as usual for them. Now, what's going to be different is move out day. Okay? That's going to be different for everybody, because then everything that's been said and prepared for is going to be, it's no longer the dress rehearsal. It's going to be lights, camera, action. I do want to read this. This is very reassuring. So the best friend on Instagram said, I was married for 20 years, divorced now. thought I would never marry again, and but after finding myself, God brought the perfect man for me, so there can be happiness after. So that's good. That's very refreshing. God is gonna bring the perfect man for you, Chaun. You should
Best
see your face.
best friend Francis said, "How do you make it work if your partner is the complete opposite of you?"
What do they say? Opposites attract.
That's what they say, but I don't know.
They say opposites attract. They didn't attract us, but they say opposites attract. Um. Oh, there was a message that popped up. I think it was an inbox message.
Oh, I'm watching it.
Okay.
Also, best friend Erica said, "Oh, did you have a?" Because I don't really know how to answer that question because I think for me, everybody is so individual. So I can't give a blanket statement just because you believe that you're opposite someone. Everybody's personalities is different. It's just going to really boil down to communication and sitting down and having the tough conversation. What is that? What does your mate expect out of a relationship and a partner? What do you expect out of a mate and a relationship and a partner? And if you guys start to have that conversation and you realize, you know what, I'm not going to be able to uphold that, or I can't meet those expectations, then that's how you're going to know whether or not it's going to work for you. And that's one of the things that I think that we did not do, is have those difficult conversations, especially as we were changing and evolving. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, we definitely changed a lot, and I, because you wake up and you see yourself, you don't realize it. It's like gaining weight, right? Sometimes, everybody who don't see you, and it's been, a month or two since they seen you, they be like, "Oh, girl, never mind, you look happy," and so you don't realize it because you see yourself every day. You walk past the mirror every day, but it's the person who don't see you and haven't seen you for a while. They get the snickering and giggling, and they like, "Girl, you look real." Happy.
Right. Plump.
Plump. Yeah. So, it's the same thing as it relates to relationships. So, Chaun is right. You have to sit down and figure out, sometimes opposite can be good because it's balance. If I have a short temper and I talk a lot, me having somebody who, is very calm, it makes sense, right? But I think, like Chaun said, a lot of the important conversations are, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that I'm looking for? What's important to you in a mate? Where do you see yourself this time next year or 5 years? Are we, are our lives going in the same direction? Do you want children or not? Because that could be a deal breaker. Do you want to get married or not? There's a bunch of different things. You have to have very, very, very tough conversations. But there's a lot of tools and resources online. Doing the love language quiz is huge. A lot of people swear by that. Sometimes, best friends, what your love language was versus what it is now might be different, right? And so I think mine has changed. It would benefit me to probably sit down at some point when I'm dating again to do the love languages quiz just to kind of see, where am I now? Where am I now? But it was very interesting because I had a conversation with a good friend a while ago. This was actually been a couple years ago. And she said, all I hear you talk about is business or Kennedy and Caleb. And she said, outside of that, like, what do you like to do? I couldn't answer the question. Where do you like to go? Do you like to bowl? Do you like to do this? Do you like to do that? And she named like 5, 10 things. And I was like, And so my mind not too long ago went back to that conversation. And so I thought about in my journaling time and my time by myself at night, just sitting down, making a list of all the things that I either have never done or haven't done in a while, just to revisit at some point to see, once things have calmed down and things are back stable, just to see, hey, is this something that I'd be interested in doing? So, yeah, because I'm 40 and I don't have a hobby. So, yeah. What would you say?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, are you reading comments?
Yes, I was reading
Okay.
comments. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to be honest. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Let me see. So the new book, Miss Patricia, the new books are going to ship the week of August 14th. So we are in pre-sale status. So all orders will begin to ship the week of August 14th. Because even if you purchase the first book, we're not going to ship two times. So everything will start to ship the week of August 14th. Thank you so much for asking. Let me see. Angela said, Chaun, how do you feel about dating again? I'm not interested in that right now. I tell people all the time, I'm not dateable right now. So I have a lot of work that I need to do on my end before I can even become a good prospect. So I can't go out looking for somebody if I'm not even a good prospect yet. So Terry, we haven't been married. We actually got divorced back in 2017. She said, so you'll dissolve your marriage within a year of separation. So we were already divorced. So this was our third time trying to be together. So we were married, we got divorced, we got back together, we separated, and then we got back together this last time. And so now this is the final goodbye.
Mm-hmm. There was, Vending had a question above that.
It's just a comment. It wasn't a question.
Oh.
Did you want me to read it?
Sure.
She said, Chaun, I know you stated that you messed up. I think that you have and are learning. I don't want you to think that it's the end of the world. Remember, the best is yet to come. Y'all will be happier than ever. I believe that. Thank you so much.
I agree. Yeah. And what I personally think is I think, so it kind of goes to the best friend on Instagram that was asking. She was like, y'all been through a lot. You don't think you can try again? I think, and it's kind of sad and unfortunate for both of us, but I think whoever we end up with is going to get the best version of us, because you got to think of all the things that we have put each other through over the years. And so it was not because of us not loving each other, or us not respecting each other, or us not whatever. It was just simply because at the time when I did it, I was 20 something and I'm 40 now, and so whoever is blessed enough to get us after healing is going to get the absolute best version of Chaun Johnson that there is on the market. Same thing is true for me. They're going to get the best version, because they're going to get who we became after all of the life lessons, after building a nice nest egg financially, losing it all, having to rebuild, all of the lessons, after infidelity, after lying, after dishonesty, after all of these different things. You get the best version of us, and so that says a lot. And so what I think both of us individually would be looking for is up there. It's up there, so. Best friend on YouTube said, I'm gonna miss watching. Oh, it disappeared for me.
She said, I'm gonna miss watching you both. What if down the line that both of you grow into what you should have been in a relationship? Would you try it again or not?
What's your answer? Hot seat. Hot seat. What would you say? It's always on me.
It is always on you. To be honest, Sonia, I would be open to it.
Chaun so petty. She's so petty.
I'm not petty. I'm just being honest. All I can do is speak my truth. She is so
petty. Chaun said she would be open to it. Let me tell you. Okay, so let me tell you my honest opinion. Okay, right, wrong, or indifferent. I am an Aries at my core. When my father was sick, or right before he was sick, he came to see us, and Chaun, myself, and my brother Eric, who shares the same birthday as me, all had a conversation. It was me, Chaun, and Eric. And Eric was telling Chaun, hey sis, I'm an Aries. And so we were talking about his relationship. Let's take me and Chaun out of it for a second. In my Kevin Samuels voice, it's too personal, okay? So Eric, who's 2 years older than me, was telling Chaun, hey sis, I know you've asked me a couple of times if me and my ex-girlfriend, baby mama, if me and my ex-girlfriend would ever get back together and possibly settle down and get married for the sake of our daughter, because I talk about her so much. And he said the answer that I would give you is no, and here's why. Me and Chaun was looking like, no, she's the only woman we've ever heard you mention, and y'all been separated for like 5+ years. He was like, my answer is no. He said, because very similar to a high performing athlete. When I'm in a relationship, I give my heart and soul. When I say I give all of me, I give all of me to the point where I teeter between almost losing myself inside of the relationship. When I have been rejected so many times and I make the difficult decision that I got to pick my face up off the ground and walk away from the relationship, I've exhausted all possibilities. So for me, I tried, right? And so when I heard my brother Eric say that, I looked at Chaun. And it was right before Dad died, right before Dad started getting sick. So this was during the process of us going through all this behind the scenes and nobody even knowing. I looked at Chaun and I said, I had never been able to articulate how I felt. Without even trying, my brother Eric just told you exactly what I've been trying to say for 17 years. I showed up and I gave you the absolute best that I had. I gave it to you over and over and over again. And so I would be dishonoring myself if I went back to the same thing that broke me so many times. I tried, not once, not twice. I tried 3 times. And so one of the reasons why I made the difficult decision, because we both did it. We did this dance in and out of the road, right? We did this dance. Well, Chaun would be like, I don't think it's working out. And I'm like, you sure? And then we would try, and then this was over the past year. And then I'd be like, yeah, it ain't working out. And then we would do this dance until we both came to the agreement, yeah, we can't do it, right? But it was so crazy because I sat with the reality of saying, I have been lied to. I have been disrespected so much inside of this relationship. The only way for her to possibly respect me at the level that I know God wants me to be respected and honored and loved is if I leave. You don't appreciate what you got until it's gone. And best friends, with all due respect, there's some shit you can't never get back. And that's a tough pill to swallow. That's a tough pill to swallow. So Chaun may have lost Candy, but Chaun didn't lose Chaun. And there's billions of people in this world. And so what I know about Chaun, that a lot of people don't know about Chaun, is even though she's hurt today, there's something inside of her that's gonna heal. And she's gonna be a better version and a better wife to somebody else. They're going to get something from her that I was never able to pull from her. And if I stay, I will still never get it. I would never get it. So, yeah. Yeah. I love hard. I love hard. I love hard. I've never, and I don't even mean this in a cocky or arrogant way, best friends. I met a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know. You guys are gonna see how hard I love. I've not met a lot of people who loved. I covered Chaun. I loved her. I loved her. With my soul, I did. To the point where it almost cost me my life, my sanity. So I have to consider Kennedy and Caleb. I have to consider what life looks like for me. And so I am charged with the responsibility that I can't just make decisions for me. And that's hard. Because the first video we did, the question everybody wanted to know, who made the decision to leave? People was throwing fruit on the stage from then. It's always the person who makes the decision to choose them that's always vilified. Always, always. the record stand. Let the record stand. You're right, Miss Darlene. I do still love Chaun. I always love Chaun. She gave me two beautiful children. She supported me. She supported me in ways people will never know. I always love Chaun. Absolutely, I will. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yep. What other questions do you guys have? Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Best friend said that's them Aries we really love hard. I'm never best friend. Listen, and I know every zodiac sign known to man gonna be like we love hard too. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I have shown up for people. I can give you so many examples. I have shown up and exercised unwavering love for people that gave me their tail to kiss over and over and over and over again. That's just who we are. We don't know another way. But a lot of people will see an Aries coming a mile away and they see weakness or they try to take advantage. So then when our anger comes out or our temper comes out, then that's when people be like, "Oh my God." But it's only in response to the disrespect that you led with. You see what I'm saying? That's how we're wired. Most people will love you and they'll give you the shirt off their back. I'm giving you the shirt, the belt, the pants, the coat, the shoes. I'm giving you the hat. It might rain outside. I'm going to the truck getting you my umbrella, everything. That's just how we are, to the detriment of ourselves. Yep, that's how we are. Yeah. Any other questions? Well, they over here on Instagram. Thank you very, very much for the prayers. Best friend said, that makes me so sad. Don't be sad. We have to approach this thing as glass half full. Chaun and I have done enough crying behind the scenes for everybody. And, you know, what we have to realize is that we have a whole lifetime ahead of us. You know, when I was at my granny house earlier and I sat and I watched her in her little cute Adidas little jumpsuit because she had been to exercise class, it dawned on me. The first week of September, Granny's gonna be 82 or 83 years old. I'm 40. She's lived double my life plus some. You see what I'm saying? We have a whole nother life ahead of us. This is only the end of a chapter. This is not the end of a story. Chaun is gonna be fine and so is Candy. Kendy and Caleb gonna be fine and so is Jordan. Everybody gonna be just fine. But there are some lessons in all of this. There's some lessons in all of this, best friends. Which is why I feel like both of us were being led to tell our story. You can't go through all this pain and not allow somebody to benefit from it. Somebody gotta learn. You know, if we walk the country mile, don't mean y'all gotta walk a country mile in our shoes. What else you see?
Where did it go? Hold on. I think it says Wendell. It says, "Are you relocating?"
No. Some days I want to. Some days, I tell you guys all the time, some days I do pick up that cell phone and want to call one of my realtor friends in the area and say, "Hey, list the house for sale." But then again, just like the Aries, I think about everybody else, right? I think about, you know, all of my loved ones and family and friends and people that I'm connected to locally. And of course, I have to pause and consider, right? I have to consider if that's the best option. I have to consider what that looks like for everybody. So, I don't know.
That's it. That's all the questions.
All right. Well, you guys will see me live tomorrow. You guys will see me live tomorrow. Oh, question, Jordan, you don't have to come in here because I know you need a haircut. But the best friends are asking, how are you feeling about everything?
Like the whole situation?
Can you come here without being on camera? We got to get JoJo down to the barbershop. He said facts. So he not gonna be on camera, but so the best friends want to know, how do you feel about the whole situation?
Well, since me and you, we done had our one-on-one talks. I ain't really had too many with Sis Chaun, but she understands. But like I said, the other thing with you, like for both of y'all gotta do whatever to make y'all happy. Cause you know, since we done lost a lot of people on our end, like life is so short. So like y'all happiness above anything, y'all feel like should come first. And I'm just grateful, like from day one, y'all have brought me in this home. Y'all have accepted me, made me feel comfortable. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Y'all forever will be. And no matter what, y'all both my sisters, like forever. Like I told Sis Chaun, like this my blood sister, so like she got like no matter what, like, like this is how I'm on, but like yeah, like both of y'all my sisters forever, and I just want to thank y'all. So
Oh,
I appreciate that.
I love y'all.
Everybody like, hello Jordan, hello Jordan. Yeah. So oh, JoJo said y'all gonna see him once he get a haircut. So you guys heard it first. Y'all heard Jordan say we've had a lot of loss in our lives, and so he he really just wants everybody to be happy, which I greatly appreciate. Yeah. Mhm. Y'all heard it first. Anything else? What you think about all that?
About all what?
You were kind of quiet.
I was just taking it in and accepting for what it was. I think my biggest thing is the best friends have heard me say that I'm reaping what I sowed, and I am sitting in my consequences. So the fact that I said that I'm open to it and Candy is absolutely not open to it ever again, that's a reality. And when you hurt somebody, when you betray somebody, when you lie to somebody, when you dishonor somebody, and all of those things, that's the karma, that's the result, those are the consequences that you have to deal with. And that's something that I will have to deal with for the remainder of my life, to know that I lost one of the most important people in my life. And so I just have to accept that.
You didn't lose me. The relationship just looked different. Girl, you just want to. You just want the good. No, it's a joke. It's a joke. Sean look like she finna throw something at me. You know, I was trying to make light of the situation to make you laugh.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, if anybody has ever been in a situation where you have hurt somebody or you have lost somebody, then you know that's just what you have to deal with. That's what you have to accept. And you know, that's another lesson that you have to learn, that perhaps you won't do it again in the future.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is. Adrian said, "Candy, you bad." No, that's the reality. You know, I heard, and to quote Darius, I heard Darius say it about a different situation, but he said, "You can't cut me and then tell me how to bleed," right? So a lot of people will say, "Oh, you guys can work it out. You know, give it another chance or whatever the case may be." But when we as humans make conscious choices or decisions, we can't control how another person feels or will respond to that. Your computer dying?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh dang it, that. So yeah, we can't control how another person will respond to that, right? Everybody's got a threshold. And so, with that being said, like I do believe in my heart of hearts, like I said, Chaun will find love again. Chaun found love before me. Chaun will find love after me. And so what I have reconciled with is I'm okay even if I'm single, you know, for a very long time. That's perfectly fine. Right, best friend said time heals all wounds. That's very, very true. That's very, very, very true. Yeah. So, yeah. So that is that, best friends. But I love these sort of conversations. What I was going to tell you guys is make sure your notifications are on, because tomorrow Chaun and I have a big day. We're going to sit down and we're going to meet. It may take hours for us to make a list of all of the things that we do for each other. I mean, we're literally, I'm talking about, we're going to start from the smallest task to the biggest task. And so we're going to look at everything, you know, as it relates to the house, the kids, the business. And so our debrief conversation after all of that should be very, very interesting. So that is going to be what we do tomorrow. But as we always tell you guys, the absolute best is yet to come. But baby, we got work to do. Have a good night.